G'day, this video profiles the Mt Elliot Ridge Track, which runs between the Murray Valley Highway and Walkers Road, and it's located slightly east of Corryong. So here's Mt Elliot. You access the track via the Murray Valley Highway through a gate. So you have to enter through private property. This is a public easement, so you just have to be respectful and keep an eye out for the cattle. Track fairly quickly starts climbing up the hill. It's a fairly narrow track, but the track's in excellent condition at the lower end. Get some pretty cool views as well on the way up. Now, at the time that we did this track, there'd been some fuel reduction burning, and the track had been graded not long before. Believe me, this part of the track can get extremely nasty and rough, and hence why I gave the track rating an easy to medium rating, because the first rain that hits this mountain, this track is going to go to the absolute rubbish, and it is not going to be what you're seeing right now. This is going to be rough as guts. Anyway, here we are getting towards the summit, and there's this amazing hut called the Flying Swagman Hut. It was built by a chap by the name of Arthur Fisher, who built his own glider and used to use a steel cable to slingshot the glider off Mt Elliot. And then he'd take it up and he used to store it in those hangars, the wings at the back of the hut. It's an absolutely amazing hut, and it's well worth a look. It's just been recently rebuilt, I understand. One of the coolest huts in the high country. So here we are at the summit, and on the other side of the summit is a hang gliding, paragliding, launching ramp, and the views from this ramp are unreal, and lots and lots of local people come up here during summer to have a few beers watching the sun go down. It's absolutely magnificent. As you pass along the track, you go through some major patches of grass trees, xanthoreas, which are just awesome. The track gets pretty narrow on top of the ridgeline in parts. Overall, I would say this track is an easy track from the summit all the way to the southern end of the track. It's a really long track. It's approximately 40 kilometres long. And it took us around about 3 hours to do, including visiting the hut and the summit. From here on in, there's no real obstacles to mention. The track slopes are all pretty fair. They vary, from very low to somewhere around 15 degrees, which is very doable and very safe for almost all four-wheel drivers. So it's a great track to do, but it is a bit of an epic. And I must give a teaser, there are a few other huts hidden around in the bush. So there are lots of little side tracks off the ridgeline, and there's the odd hut hidden away that aren't necessarily on the maps. So this track is just a neat way to cruise over into the Pinnibar area. If you've got a little bit of time on your hands, instead of just shooting up the Murray Valley, this is just a really lovely way, but it does take some time. If I was coming up here, I would definitely recommend taking something to possibly cut up a tree or a small branch or whatever if it falls across the track. This track doesn't see a huge amount of traffic, and so there is a chance that you might strike the odd branch here and there. cool views. I didn't quite capture them as we're going along, but there are some really lovely views out to the east and west of the track. A couple of sections like this where the track's a bit narrow, but overall it's really good. So there's a whole stack of side tracks you can come on and off this track as well, which I didn't cover. Okay, so we're almost at the end of the track. It was a hell of a drive, but a really good fun one. And here we are, almost at Walker's Road, which I think is just around the corner. Yeah, and here we are. Okay, well I hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you out there.